You know, the butcher, the freaking nut job that goes around chopping people up. The feds heard that he's gonna be here today.
I'm going to venture to say that this is probably the most murderous, most diabolical character you've ever played. How much of it was playing someone so dark and so different from anyone you've ever portrayed?
I'm always trying to do something that's going to be a little bit surprising. Like, I usually, if I find a film challenging, if I find a role seemingly challenging, I want to take it because it's like the gambler in me. I want it. If it has a chance of spectacular failure or a chance of spectacular, like, growth or, doing, getting audiences in and being excited about it, I always want to take that role. So this was right in line with that, but it was a little bit scary because the research for it was dark, and being able to kind of get into the mindset of this character and look at kind of normal life as a layer of artifice as opposed to like just living within it. Because a lot of times in characters you can sort of put your own experience into it, but I didn't want any of that in this character. I wanted like his relationship to his daughter to be almost idealized and to a point that it's almost like like he's taken everything from the internet, like he wears the right stuff, he acts the right way, but you could see that something underneath that is churning and he actually feels something for her. So in a way, what's also very fun is that this weird ride we're asking you to go on is this serial killer who we say pretty much straight off the top, he's the worst dude ever. We want you to start to understand him and watch him transform and to have like just that little bit of humanity by the end. And yeah, what a cool twisted story,
Yeah.
Knight's a sick man.
Sick in a good way.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, and the butcher is like obviously not your prototypical serial killer, like how we sort of imagine a serial killer as a single man who's antisocial, like how sort of like you would typically look at one of these guys or imagine one of these guys. Like, did you find, you mentioned the research, did you find that there have actually been serial killers out there that were these like unassuming family men?
100%. There was one that was caught on Long Island just before we started filming. Did you read about that?
No.
Out here? Yeah, this guy had the Gilgo murderer. He was found here in Long Island in New York probably last August. And he had a family and he had a normal job and was completely sort of integrated into society. And that's the other frightening bit about this movie. When I read the script, the thing that really got me most was, and I don't want to give anything away, but there's a line in it where someone sort of says this really trivial thing that he did that turned her opinion of him and made her think that there was something off about him. And that trivial thing that he did was something that I see in every relationship. And I was like, ooh, this movie's great. It's insidious because it's kind of asking us to look at the people around us in a different way,
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, so I don't know. I just think Knight has a great twisted sense of humor, and this is clearly meant to be entertaining and fun, but from my perspective as an actor, it's also a character study that I got to dive deep into, which was wild.
There's also the horror of being a dad at a pop star's concert you have no interest in seeing.
Right.
You're a fellow dad of young kids like myself.
I am.
Have you found yourself in that scenario yet?
Just recently, yeah, because my girls were pretty young before we shot the movie, but now they're getting to a point where they're starting to idolize pop stars, and their go-to right now, the one that they're most obsessed with, is Taylor Swift,
Of course.
like a lot of kids. The Eras Tour came through London, and because I live in the UK, and they dragged me up to see it, and I was amazed by the spectacle. Like it was a pretty amazing show, but what I was kind of relating it back to the movie was so cool is that like the fervor and the sort of connection that all the kids had with Taylor Swift was very similar to what Knight recreated in this movie with all the other kids that went to see Lady Raven. And I felt like he did it incredibly well. So like within this movie, there's this pop concert going on that's actually playing in front of us while we're doing the scenes and stuff. It's a remarkable achievement. It's unlike anything else I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, no, I felt that, and you and me both, brother. I have 2 daughters, so I know way more about Taylor Swift than I should. Like,
Yeah. Have you read any of the books? Have you read any of like the origin story books to your kids? And they're like,
no,
oh my God.
yeah, I know. And I'm quizzes on like what song is from what album and what have
Right,
you.
right, right.
My time's up, but Josh, it's
Okay.
always a pleasure to speak with you. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to see you.